You are listening to another episode of Cloud and Clear, SADA's Cloud Transformation Podcast. I'm your host, Veronica, and today we are pleased to welcome Jeff Bozic, Distinguished Technologist at Insight, to the show. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel on your listening platform to stay up to date on the latest Cloud and Clear episodes from SADA. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Thank you, Veronica. I'm super happy to be here and excited for the conversation today.
Great. Can you share a little bit more about your role at Insight?
Absolutely. So my role at Insight, so I'm a distinguished architect in our field architecture team. And so part of my role is to be out there in front of our clients every day, starting to understand what their challenges are, what their business initiatives are. It's really being that thought leader to help them understand how to bring all that together, how to start to build some roadmaps, how to start to prioritize what they're doing, bring all of the Insight resources to bear to help execute on that, and really just be that advocate for their innovation, their transformation, and their success.
Excellent. Thank you so much. A lot of similarities with what my role is at SADA. I'm the Senior Director of Advisory Services, so very complementary to the things that you said, helping the customer set that roadmap, decide where they're going, figure out the gaps, and ultimately work with all of our experts to help them get there. So shifting gears just a little bit, let's talk about AI. We certainly can't have a conversation in 2024 without bringing it up. So can you share a little bit about how AI is and isn't impacting your role?
Absolutely. So, in the sense of how AI is affecting my day-to-day, it's great for things in terms of email summarization. If you're having meetings with clients and you're whiteboarding, taking pictures of that, it can summarize. Really great in terms of helping us, really break down what we're doing. There's a lot of complexity, the sales cycle in our conversations, and just distilling some of that, making it a little bit easier to consume, a little bit easier to remember, starting to build some actionable steps forward. But really, it's what's mostly impacting my life is in my interactions with my clients. As you mentioned, it's 2024. Ever since ChatGPT was released in November of 22, every client has been trying to figure out how to adopt this into their organization, how to drive value, how to do this safely. And so it's been a lot of fun helping all of our organizations start to understand and embark on this journey. And really, it's a learning experience for myself, learning experience for Insight as we're trying to stay ahead of this curve. And so it's just been a fun ride and one that is not slowing down anytime soon.
Absolutely.
How has it been affecting your day? I'm curious in your world and how it's been influencing your role.
Well, it's kind of like a tale of two stories. So the first is my own day-to-day use of AI. Just like you have an office productivity and collaboration tool, so does SADA. We're on different platforms, but both have a really robust set of capabilities built into the materials and the applications we use every single day. So our email, like you said, writing files, code, things like that. I happen to be honored to be on the change management team as well. And we have that team of experts who train folks in how to use AI. So I get little snippets, tips, and tricks from my team to help me use AI, Gemini, and specifically to make my day easier. So that's a big win. I've really enjoyed seeing how, as you said, it summarizes, makes my day easier, cuts out some of the menial tasks that I can't get started, right? And it helps you get started. So that's the first part. Being part of the delivery side, we are constantly engaging with our customers on that question of kind of to AI or not to AI. And I know you're doing that same thing. Like, what does it mean to use it effectively? So what are you doing when you have that conversation with customers about what AI makes sense?
Yeah, it's a great question. And again, what's part of the fun of this is that conversation is going to be different for every client, because ultimately it's really trying to drive down what are their immediate items of value that they want to start to drive with AI. And this can be contextual to every single business and industry. Even one of the first ways to start to distill that conversation is, are you looking to help with your internal productivity and efficiencies for internal consumption, whether it's just releasing things like Copilot or some of those job functions to your employees, things in terms of how you can be more efficient from a spend perspective, or how you can be more efficient with, in terms of us, like our sales processes and things of that nature, or our clients looking to embed this into their products that they're providing out to their clients. So how can they embed this into products? How can they even offer it as a product or service? How can they start to build it into applications? and really start to get them to think about the use cases and how to start thinking about these use cases and all the considerations around it. One of the things that's fascinating about AI is it brings ways to think about whether it's value, whether it's safety, whether it's cost, in ways that people haven't necessarily had to think about this with traditional IT solutions and transformational solutions in the past. And so really making sure that they're thinking about it in a way that is going to be, again, cost effective, safe, how to start, thinking about what use cases make sense, what types of roles or responsibilities they're going to need, whether that's in-house, whether they're outsourcing that, combination of both, through Insight and SADA partnerships, or whether they're looking to hire their own, data scientists and data engineers and platform teams. So these conversations really start to splinter off. And then obviously that maturity curve that we're starting to see is starting to widen. The companies that haven't even dipped their toe into this, and we have companies that are building full-on data pipelines and AI pipelines on top of platform engineering with their own data scientists. So these conversations start to meander a bit, so really understanding where they're at, what they're trying to accomplish, what gaps have they thought of, the things that you're mentioning. I mean, really that gap analysis becomes really big, and trying to understand how they're thinking about it so we can meet them where they're at, bring the right services and capabilities and technology to bear to help them accelerate on that journey.
Yeah, it sounds like, we don't want AI to become just a buzzword like, Jeff, I need AI. Veronica, I need AI. I think we're both having those conversations to take it back and say, well, what are you going to do with it? What do you think it's going to do to make your day better? And you mentioned a couple other things that I feel like we're just starting to scratch the surface. If you kind of go back about a year to the big tech conferences as the new AI capabilities were rolled out, I feel like there was a lot of fear, people saying like, oh my gosh, all this change, it's happening so fast. And it doesn't seem like it's actually happening that fast for organizations, right? They're still trying to figure it out. And that cost management component comes in farther down the road, right? Like I don't really see us having deep conversations there. But I'm seeing this concept as I've talked to users and executives around like what I'm calling like shadow AI, that an organization will say like, I'm not sure how we're going to use AI or if we are. And then you talk to employees and like, they're using it. So we really do want to be at the forefront with our customers to make sure it is secure, protecting their IP, and they know all those best practices regardless of how they're using it. So, are you seeing shadow AI out there in your customer base?
Yeah, we absolutely are. In fact, one of the things that we initially came out with clients, we were having these conversations, our initial piece of advice, and this was something that Insight adopted immediately, was even just creating written policy around usage, both for internal usage, external usage, personal usage, because you're exactly right. I mean, again, there's security and data concerns that haven't necessarily been thought about or haven't been as meaningful with other types of solutions or capabilities in terms of, is my IP getting put out there? How is that being used? How is it being leveraged? One of the really interesting things that is also starting to surface is this concept of bias and fairness in your data. Even if you have policy written, you're able to find the data sources that you want to drive the value you need. How is that data created in the first place? Is there some bias in that data? How do you start to test for that? So again, considerations that people haven't necessarily thought about before, and how to use this for good. I mean, we've seen some of the stories in the news of how people can use this for nefarious reasons, or how people can, get manipulated unintentionally by unintentional responses from some of these large language models. So how can you train your staff, educate your staff, and even once you educate them, it can become a different shift in their usage patterns of their day to day. We have an interesting story when we first rolled out some of our pilots to people. One of the first things we noticed with lack of adoption were people asking, like, where's the training manual? Where's the examples of how to use this? Oh, okay, that makes sense. So we created some of those. We rolled it out again in a second pilot, and we started getting the adoption that we were expecting up front. And it was because it was just human, interest, human instinct to stick with what's comfortable and what's normal. So how to embrace this change, again, how to educate your staff, how to educate your users, and then how to start to build some of those guardrails, the actual real technical guardrails around it, is absolutely where a lot of these conversations start. I'm guessing you're seeing some of the similar things, and even within, the SADA organization, where did you guys start with this?
Yeah, absolutely. safe, secure, and sticky, right? That's kind of how we want our products to be with our customers. And AI is no different for those people working on it. Internally, we're finding a lot of value using AI to scrub our own systems and come up with great answers, use our past work to build great new work. But of course, as you mentioned, you have to make sure that what you're grounding that AI work and teaching it and where you're referencing is what you want to really be building on. So definitely conversations there. And then with our customers, same thing, right? How do I get business value out of this and make sure that people understand the guardrails? And it is a human behavior, right? Like you're giving someone a giant tool. So let's take the time, slow down, teach them how to use it, and teach them kind of where you don't want them to go. So definitely seeing it too. But now we could talk about this forever, probably a whole nother episode. But let's talk about a couple other things. So SADA and Insight still in that early phases, it's just about 9 months in. As we are working together, what have been your thoughts and observations about the partnership?
Yeah, thanks for the question, because I love answering this question. Actually, I love talking about this to clients. I was super excited when we made the announcement since acquisition. It's been fun conversations, and it really helped fill a bit of a gap that Insight had, both with an expertise around Google Cloud, but also just around the overall operating value. Insight's value to our clients is really being able to provide these end-to-end transformational capabilities and solutions, really meeting our clients where they're at. And I have one example of a large financial institution I've been working with their cloud and platform teams. And they're starting to try to move a lot into GCP, but in a holistic manner. It's a multi-cloud world. They also have some on-premises cloud that they're building. They're building their DevOps practices. They're looking to build some of their SecDevOps practices. And how that can apply into their primary cloud they're building into GCP was a bit of an area where we didn't have that same level of expertise. And so bringing in the SADA team has been not only wonderful from bringing that industry expertise, but also from the synergies of how they think about helping clients in that holistic manner. It's not just about, we have these, the GCP nerds, which you absolutely have that skill sets and that expertise, but it's also about how to help organizations think about how is Google just a part of your overall operations, your overall infrastructure, your overall security. Think about like DevSecOps types of concepts that have to expand well beyond GCP. And the synergies there of how we work together, how we think about client value, how we talk about client value has just been so wonderful. The clients are feeling it. It's feeling like one team to them. Being able to provide that true multi-cloud holistic approach has been just wonderful, exciting to talk about. And I really think the value we're going to keep bringing to our clients. And to your point, the more we continue to integrate and get synergized, it's just going to be great for Insight. It's going to be great for our clients, great for the industry, great for everyone.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I feel like we could take everything you said and have it, switch SADA for Insight and have the same message, but the culture is aligned. How we treat our customers and going above and beyond, that's really important to all of our organizations, or both of our organizations. But I think what really, you hit on was that I want to be able to help my customer. And there was like a blind spot where we used to just have to let someone else in the door who we didn't know. Like, are they going to really help with the multi-cloud approach? Is this other partner going to try and make a different decision when we're on this great success path? Are they complementary technologies, or are we going to be kind of just switching back platforms every other month? So I think by having this strong partnership, and we're all kind of coming from this, like you said, we're one company servicing the customer in the way, in the direction they need to go. And I've seen it be very selfless on both sides. And that's what I really love about, again, being customer-centric. And we're all kind of keeping that focus there. So totally agree. And cost management has actually been, I'm going to nerd out for like 2 seconds. That's been really fun for me. Really, it's a very agnostic discipline. You mentioned DevSecOps and some of these cultural things, but that's been fun to see the less cloud specific people get together and say, like, let's create a great dashboard no matter what platform you're on, or let's talk about engineering culture no matter what platform you're on. And that just really opens up the door for our customers to advance so much farther.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And the level of expertise is at the same level, but it really is that mindset of how are we helping our customers achieve their outcomes, not how am I going to help them grow their GCP business, or from Insight, how am I going to help them grow the rest of their infrastructure and cloud and services business. So that true unified approach, I think, has been a wonderful addition as we've been having conversations with clients about how they're operating, how they're transforming, concepts like platform engineering, unifying all these teams together, having like-minded people that have similar beliefs and similar thought processes, similar thought leadership, and bringing them together has just been wonderful. I've been learning a lot as well. I think there's, two-way streets of learning. Everyone's kind of been able to realize that we can be better together. No one knows everything. And just sees this partnership as, 2 + 2 equaling far more than 4.
Yeah, love it. Great way to end that one. So we've talked about where we both came from, the SADA Insight, the partnership, of course, AI, where we're at today. But what about the future? Any predictions, thought leadership, anything you want to share with us before we head out?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. And one of the things that I'm starting to see, we're starting to feel it a little bit, but I think this AI thing is really driving this concept, is that technology, a lot of clients and a lot of customers, a lot of people and technologists have always seen it as the path of innovation, how organizations are going to grow and innovate and do all these new cool things. Cloud has really helped introduce a new way of doing business and helped accelerate some of this innovation. But I think where organizations are starting to get to now is seeing how this innovation happened in pockets, whether it was, GCP innovation, whether it was DevOps innovation, whether it's application replatforming, whether it was infrastructure modernization, whether it's security modernization, and how to start to scale that across organizations. I think they're starting to realize that the people, the process, the programs, those become really, really important, and how to start to invest more in those pieces and let the technology simply be an enabler to how that's going to accelerate the organization. I really think you're going to start to see more people focusing on what does it mean internally? How do I start to bring services in to help enable my team to work better together? How can I start to learn how to, take what I'm learning, take what one group is learning, and start to share that across organizations, start to unify these tool sets and these pipelines. And AI really exposes this in a big way, where you have data everywhere. And again, these use cases that AI can help become across your entire organization. So it requires thought leadership across organization. It requires people really coming together to really think about this in new ways. It requires ways to think about how you're processing your entire systems, your information, how you're getting applications out to market, your overall operational piece. So I really think this focus on not just focusing on the developer who's developing the greatest new app or the data scientist, but the entire holistic team, including the business. How does that become part of the feedback mechanism is where we're going to start to see clients really leaning in, focusing to accelerate and expand their growth of what they're seeing today. But, that's just kind of my opinion. I'm really curious to see what you're seeing and kind of what you're feeling and the future is going to bring.
Fabulous. I think for me, that you mentioned the word culture and the people, those are my favorite points, my sweet spots. And I am seeing that as well. A lot more discussion, less on, no one's looking at AI like it's the silver bullet. And we've seen other tech being like, we're going to put this in, it's going to change everything. Because I still think we don't understand how it's going to complement our work and our people. And there is fear around how is this going to change? So that aspect of really taking care of people on this journey, we have a lot of customers who have said, oh, I want to do this modernization, or I want to be including AI, or I want to be doing these massive shifts to the cloud, and I want to retain the people I have. I need to reskill them. I need to make sure they're comfortable. And so that concept of really having technology there, but in these technology-based projects, having a hyper focus on the scalability of humans is just something I'm really excited to see. I haven't seen as much of that conversation in the past. It's just been like, they're really smart, they'll figure it out. But we're seeing that we really have to do a little bit more to help people figure it out. And I'm hoping that leaders will lean into that and keep us honest on that and keep themselves honest, and that we can find some really strong partnerships where folks are feeling empowered and really valued in their job, and they're seeing that they can accomplish so much with whatever cloud solution or hardware, software that they're working in. And hopefully SADA and Insight are around with them on that journey.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think about it to kind of boil down my sentiments ultimately is, as technology is innovating so fast, as just our world is moving so fast, I think businesses are starting to realize that to align your IT, your solution sets, your operations, your teams to the business value, and that alignment is getting harder and harder to really justify. And to be able to do that very quickly, technology tools aren't necessarily going to help solve that. It's going to have to be, to your point, that cultural piece of it. And so again, I think that leaning in is almost necessary to stay competitive. And I think that's just keeping that alignment of what the business is trying to do with everybody that's helping trying to execute and enable that. That's a focus that I think is going to be here for the next few years to come.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. You heard it here first from Jeff. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure to have you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Veronica. I really enjoyed being here today. I hope people got something out of this, and I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you all.
All right. Well, everyone, you won't want to miss our exclusive insights from leaders like Jeff. So we'll see you next time on Cloud and Clear.
Thank you for listening to Cloud and Clear. Check the show notes for links to this week's topics. And don't forget to connect with us on Twitter @Cloud and Clear and our website, sada.com.